Speaking of Joe Biden, it was his awful open border policies that recklessly allowed more than 10 million illegal aliens to invade the United States over the past 4 years. Innocent Americans like Laken Riley, Jocelyn Nungray, Rachel Morin, and so many others were viciously murdered at the hands of these illegal aliens as a result of Biden's dereliction of duty. That's why one of President Trump's central campaign promises was to secure the border and end this invasion.
Yes, White House Press Secretary Karoline Leavitt holding an early morning White House press conference in the 8 a.m. hour with border czar Tom Homan on the criminal deeds of the Biden administration and the Democrats, their actions, their policies, their deeds leading to Americans, just some of whom were listed there by Karoline Leavitt, raped and murdered and plundered by the Democrat Party. Yeah, the Democrat, keep voting for that because maybe you'll be next and then all of your dreams will be realized. Well, a very good Monday morning to you, off to a rousing start, because these things don't happen very often, but in the Trump White House, an 8 a.m. press conference with the press secretary and a senior administration official, Tom Homan, border czar, laying out numbers and laying it out, and the news media is incredulous. So what are we even, who cares about Americans being murdered is the press, the White House press corps' response to all of this, because, overwhelmingly they're Democrats, and it turns out Democrats, pretty much each and every Democrat doesn't care about human life. It's an interesting situation that we're dealing with in the United States, but remarkable things. Also, really fun if you saw any of the news reports today from the North Lawn of the White House, which is where you normally see White House correspondents reporting from while they're on television. And the North Lawn of the White House, when you walk in through the Northwest Gate, that's in the northwest corner of the White House property, there is a row of white tents, the kind you might see at a food festival in Vancouver or something like that, where there was a massacre over the weekend, a crazy person driving his car into the crowd of people at the Filipino festival in Vancouver. But I'll get back to that later. You walk in and there are these white tents on the right, and that's where the television networks have their cameras set up. And should it be raining or snowing or dreary out, the reporters stand under these tents and they report. Well, behind them today, for the first day, I believe, ever in history, this is great. The White House, the Trump White House, has set up a row of signs that they punched into the ground, like, 2.5 foot by 3 foot signs. They're kind of like, imagine a real estate sign, like, this house for sale sign in somebody's front yard. Well, they got a whole row of these signs, and the signs all have mugshots on them, and the mugshots are of illegal aliens who have been arrested for murder and drug trafficking and sex trafficking and their gang membership. And they've got this row of millions and millions. It's not really millions and millions, but many dozens of signs stuck into the grass with their wire frames and their prongs to stick them into the lawn in the White House. And so the press can't avoid it. It's because the press ignores the murders of Americans, the drug deaths by the hundreds of thousands, and the news media run by Democrats, they could care less. They just don't care about, I know it's a turn of phrase, it would be impossible for them to care less. I'm always corrected on that. It's one of the things I'm frequently corrected on, turn of phrase, but never mind that. The news media, because they're Democrats, they don't care about human life. They certainly don't care about Democrat human life. And these reporters with their smug smirks on their faces, arrogantly challenging Tom Homan and Karoline Leavitt. And they're being buried, of course, because these are people that have their facts in order, and they're smart, and they're happy to respond to these petulant smugniks in the White House press corps. So remarkable stuff. And I love the fact that they put these, and Karoline Leavitt posted it on Twitter, which some like to call X. Karoline Leavitt, the White House press secretary, posted a video of these signs in the lawn on the north lawn of the White House, the where the press are, and they make it impossible, not virtually impossible, they make it literally impossible for any members of the White House press corps who had their little dinner, their White House Correspondents Association dinner on Saturday night in Washington. I don't think anybody went, though. The president didn't go. They didn't have a comedian. They had was that White House Correspondents Association guy transgender? I'm trying to just kind of Las Vegas, the guy who's the president of the association. He's out there dressed up like, I don't know, he's Liberace's sidekick or something. But he babbled on at the White House Press Association dinner, the annual White House Correspondents' Dinner, a dinner that I've been to more times than I could count, many, many times. But that's not important now. It's not about me. Let's get back to the illegal aliens arrested for various crimes, from the highest of crimes to, just funneling huge quantities of fentanyl into the country and child sex trafficking. And the White House press corps, because they represent the rest of the press corps, they don't care. They don't care about all that. But I think this is wonderful. In fact, we're going to post this for you on the the social media, the various social media platforms, so that you can see. And Caroline Levitt posted it. Wonderful stuff. We've got it for you, and we're going to share it with you because that's what we do. We're not in the same business that CNN and 60 Minutes are in. We actually tell the truth and share the news as we know it, and we are the counterweight to the dead weight that is the American news media, from New York to Washington in particular. Incredibly corrupt stuff, but wonderful stuff. And they've got the mug shots, the emblazoned on top of the sign, arrested on the bottom of the sign for murder, for rape, for drug trafficking, for on and on sex offenses. And these are the people that the news media are, and not only the news media, but Democrat judges, like this crazy woman judge in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, who actually participated in a criminal's escape from the law because she's a Democrat and not a judge at all. She's a communist pig dog. I like pig dog because it's, that's English for the German Schweinhund, and they're definitely Schweinhunds. So this judge in Milwaukee, what a piece of work she is. And she was arrested, rightly so, because she's a criminal. She's a Democrat, and she pretends to be a judge. And here comes a criminal who's in court, an illegal alien criminal who's in court in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. And he's there because he beat the hell out of, pummeled and bloodied a woman. He also pummeled and bloodied a man, but it's actually worse to pummel and bloody a woman. And this illegal alien pummeled and bloodied a woman's face and head, savagely brutalized her. And when he arrived at court to face the consequences, the Democrat Party judge literally facilitated his escape from the courthouse. And she was then arrested. She should still be in the can, in the Hoosgow. We should let her decide whether she wants to go to a men's prison or a women's prison, because you know how the Democrats are. They have these gender issues that are pretty amazing stuff. But Hannah Dugan, she is the Democrat judge, and she ought to go to prison. Let me say, I keep saying, people saying she should be stripped of her judgeship or recalled or something. She should literally be disbarred. She should be stripped of her law license. Not only she not be a judge, she shouldn't be allowed to practice law. If you're a criminal, you shouldn't be a judge. But if you're a Democrat, they're fine with that. And amazing stuff. And now we got another Democrat judge in Wisconsin. Wisconsin judge, a second one, not Hannah Dugan, who facilitated the escape of the woman-beating illegal alien, probable gang member, because the Democrat Party is the third world. They are the left, and the left is the third world. They're not a precursor to the third world. They represent third worldism, and today's Democrat Party is the third world. And they're bringing the third world to the United States of America by bringing millions and millions of illegal aliens into the country, specifically including, with great joy by them, gang members from Venezuela like Tren de Aragua, gang members from El Salvador like MS-13, who on the TV network MS-13 NBC, they love the gang members. But this is amazing stuff. And this judge who's just awful, terrible a criminal, is a hero of the Democrat Party. Kind of like Luigi Mangione, another murderer, is a literal hero of the Democratic Party. And they're looking to break him out, too. These people, the Democrat Party, should be declared a terrorist organization, probably sooner rather than later. What do you think? I think that's probably a good idea. Amazing stuff. Yes, sir. So we got, and then another judge arrested out west in New Mexico because he was providing housing in his own home to a Venezuelan illegal alien gang member with Tren de Aragua. And nobody in the news media even raises an eyebrow. They embarrassed themselves at the White House Correspondents' Dinner in Washington on Saturday night in a number of ways. But wait till you hear the president of the White House Correspondents Association, because he's something to see. But these judges are criminals. And then we've got irate idiot Democrats, elected Democrats, saying, well, you can't, this isn't democracy when a judge is arrested. Really? By the federal government because the judge is breaking the law all over the place and helping criminals rather than being a judge? Just amazing. Now, and all of this is because Orange Man bad, of course. It's all because Donald Trump is president. They didn't vote for him, and they want more crime. The Democrat Party is the party of more crime. They're the party of more murder. They're the party of more fatal drug overdoses. They're the party of Tren de Aragua. They're the party of MS-13. They're the party of Hamas. They're the party of Luigi Mangione. The Democratic Party, President Trump has declared Tren de Aragua and MS-13 to be terrorist organizations, what with all the people they murder by the thousands and thousands. And at some point, we're going to have an actual discussion, a serious discussion in this country, the United States of America, about whether the Democratic Party is a legitimate political party in the United States or whether they, too, like Tren de Aragua and MS-13, are a terrorist organization because of the actions they take, the policies they create. Just amazing stuff. One of the headlines over the weekend, this was the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel. The Milwaukee Urinal, as they call it, used to be in Santa Barbara. The Santa Barbara Journal was called the Santa Barbara Urinal. And the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel, they have the headline, Wisconsin Republicans, that's bad, that's got to be bad, signal they want to remove Judge Hannah Duggan. And they're against it, of course, at the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel because they're the news media, so they're all communist, leftist, pro Tren de Aragua, MS-13, and Luigi Mangione, and Hamas. The Democrat Party is not a legitimate American political party, not recognizable as such, I've got to say. But the lawmakers may seek to remove sitting judges through an impeachment proceeding that must begin in the assembly, or a process known as removal by address. Oh, by the way, CNN and Chuck Schumer are again yesterday talking about impeaching who? Donald Trump. And you know why? Because they say he's breaking the law every day. And then they list zero examples. No, the rhetoric of these people, just extraordinary. Also, President Trump, this is great. President Trump is talking about bringing back Columbus Day. Christopher Columbus celebrating the man that discovered America because it hadn't been discovered. And the discovery was kind of important. But Joe Biden and the Democrats, they did away with Columbus Day because they hate Italians. They're anti-Italian bigots. Amazing stuff. But you know what they did? Instead, they said, it's Indigenous Peoples Day because they were here before Christopher Columbus. And they say he didn't discover America because Native Americans had already discovered it. Yeah, they didn't write anything down about it. They didn't feed electricity to it or build airports or skyscrapers or anything, but never mind that. They're great. They're fine. But the Columbus Day, which the Democrats replaced with Indigenous Peoples Day because they were here first. That makes sense to these mental cases. And I guess they were here before Jesus Christ roamed the earth 2,025 years ago. So maybe you should replace Christmas with Indigenous Sandwiches Day or something like that. Except they didn't have sandwiches or bread or sliced meat or anything good like that. No slam on them, just the way it was. The Democrat Party. So President Trump bringing back Columbus Day, and the Democrats are furious. We are at 888-630-9625. Chris here with a list of things that none of us should trust. The Washington Post, the New York Times, anything on CNN. Here's a list of things that I do trust. The Washington Times. Support real journalism for just $1 a week at washingtontimes.com/Chris. Blood in the streets, it's up to my ankles because of the Democrats. Let's go to the telephones, Michael. Let's go to Sean calling from Lancaster, South Carolina. Sean, you're on the Chris Plant Show.
Hey, Chris Plant. How are you?
I'm just great, buddy. What do you know?
I love listening to your dad. He was always a straight shooter.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
My question is, this Albrego, Mr. Albrego Garcia.
Albrego Garcia.
How does he not only get a driver's license, but an expired driver's license?
Yeah, how long? Yeah, it takes a long time for your driver's license to expire, doesn't it? And you're talking about when he was pulled over in Tennessee with a carload of illegal aliens that he was apparently smuggling, right?
Exactly. How does a Tren de Aragua, wife-beating illegal immigrant get himself a driver's license?
And he has it for so long that it's expired.
Exactly. Thomas Jefferson said, our Constitution is not a suicide pact. We're actively committing suicide.
Yeah. Well, I would not disagree with you. I would just shade that a little bit. We're being murdered.
Yes, we are being murdered, but by certain individuals,
by the left, and that is represented here by the Democratic Party. But it's true the country is
and their judges.
And, well, these judges are, every filthy one of them is a Democrat, and they're all on the side of crime and criminals. And, when these idiot Democrats are saying, oh, you can't have a democracy, we've got some of this for you today. Can't have a democracy. Judges are being arrested. Well, you can't have a constitutional republic if judges are going out of their way to free criminals, illegal alien, as you said, wife-beating criminals that the Democrat Party promotes. All right, now we have, first of all, I want to say that I have an answer to the question. I have an answer to the question, where did he get the driver's license? Right? And this is the illegal alien. Which illegal alien? There are so many illegal aliens. And the news media, very upset about Kilmore Abrego Garcia. It's interesting that his parents named him Kilmore. Why would you name your son Kilmore? That's kind of weird. What? Oh, it's Kilmar? Oh, it's Kilmar. I kid. It's Kilmar Abrego Garcia, and he was deported because the illegal alien thing. And then there was the human trafficking in Tennessee where he's driving a big SUV with 7 or 8 other illegal aliens in there, and they had no luggage, and they were going from Texas to Maryland. They said to work a construction job. Illegal aliens. Yeah, how did we ever build the country before Democrats smuggled illegal aliens into the country? Where did all these skyscrapers come from? Honestly, amazing stuff. But let me answer the question that was asked, because the Department of Homeland Security, I went and researched it. They posted online on Al Gore's Amazing Internet on April 18th of 2025. DHS releases bombshell investigative report on Kilmar Abrego Garcia suspected human trafficking incident. And they explain the encounter. The officers decided not to cite the subject for driving infractions, but only gave him a warning citation. That's a big mistake. For driving with an expired driver's license. He's a human trafficker and illegal alien gang member. And in the Democrat Party's United States of America, they just let everybody go. Kilmar Abrego Garcia is an MS-13 gang member, illegal alien from El Salvador, and suspected human trafficker. The Department of Homeland Security put out the facts reveal he was pulled over with 8 individuals in the car. You ever drive around with 8 individuals in your car? Because that's and you go from Texas to Maryland. That sounds like a good time, doesn't it? Hey, who brought the beer? This is great stuff. Hey, can we do a gas station stop? Remarkable stuff. So the Department of Homeland Security, 8 individuals in the car on an admitted 3-day journey from Texas to Maryland with no luggage. But Tricia McLaughlin said, the facts speak for themselves, and they reek of human trafficking. The media's sympathetic narrative about this criminal illegal alien gang member has completely fallen apart. Now listen to this on the matter of the driver's license. The encountering officer decided not to cite the subject for driving infractions, but gave him a warning citation for driving with an expired driver's license. Kilmar Abrego Garcia's driver's license was a Maryland state driver's license, where Wes Moore, the governor there, is planning on running for president, maybe of MS-13 or of El Salvador, but hopefully not of the United States of America. But this is all the Democrats have. He is articulate and bright and clean, though I think Joe Biden might say. Abrego Garcia's driver's license was a Maryland, listen now, limited term temporary license, because Democrats see illegal alien gang members that are human traffickers and wife beaters, and they say, only give them a limited temporary driver's license. So he was issued by the state of Maryland and the Democrats in the state of Maryland, the Democrat governor, Wes Moore, who thinks he's going to run for president, probably will, because the Democrats will erase all of this, and that means the news media will erase all of this. But in Maryland, the illegal alien gang member human trafficker was issued a Maryland state driver's license, good for a limited term, temporary use. And the encountering officer gathered the names of the 8 other occupants in the vehicle, but could not read their handwriting. Nobody speaks English, of course. They don't speak enough English to tell you their names, and they're being trafficked by another hero of the Democrat Party that senators and members of the House are going down to El Salvador to hang out with and visit and all this good stuff. Amazing stuff. And so he was given, the illegal alien gang member human trafficker was given a temporary limited term driver's license by Wes Moore, the Democrat governor in the state of Maryland, who wants to be president. So that's the answer to your question, my friend. And now let's go to what's going on, and I mentioned this, and I believe that Kevin is posting this, and our friend Kevin Tober is posting on Al Gore's Amazing Internet on Twitter and Facebook and so on, the post by Caroline Leavitt, White House press secretary, which consists only of video taken on the north lawn of the White House, where the driveway going up to the West Wing, which is where the Oval Office is and where the press briefing room is, where all the news media go in. And our caller mentioned, he said, I miss your father. Your father was an honest reporter. Bill Plant, technically my stepfather. My mother married Bill Plant when I was 5 years old, after my father had died when I was a baby. And Bill Plant, a CBS News correspondent for 52 years, was assigned to the White House for CBS News from the beginning of the Ronald Reagan administration in 1981. He was on the Reagan campaign in 1980 until the end of the Obama administration and the beginning of the Trump administration. He finished up the first day that Trump started at the White House. He started the first day that Ronald Reagan started at the White House. And certainly a hell of a lot better than the clowns today. Speaking of the clowns today, on MSDNC, also known as MS-13, MS-13 DNC, an NBC News product, I'm making quotation marks with my fingers, they on Morning Joke, they had Jonathan Lemire, who pretends to be a White House correspondent himself, but he's a leftist and not a journalist at all, not a truth seeker, not a truth teller. Jonathan Lemire and a woman named Maria Teresa Kumar. Jonathan and Kumar's Great Adventure. At the NBC headquarters for the Morning Joke program, they're very angry about these posters that have been stood up in the lawn, the north lawn of the White House, where the press enter to go to the briefing room, and they put up these posters, which the Democrats bring to all their riots and their arson attacks. Even when they're firebombing Jewish families in their home during Passover, like the governor Josh Shapiro of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, they bring signs. I don't know if that particular genocidal anti-Semite Democrat firebomber brought signs, but you know how they love signs. So they're very angry, not with the number of illegal aliens in the country murdering and raping, but with the fact that the White House put up signs that made it impossible for the filthy, corrupt news media to pretend that they don't know what's being talked about. And then Caroline Leavitt and our border czar, Tom Homan, held a press conference laying out the reality of what's going on in the country and what they are trying to do about it. And the news media is on a jihad against them. They're really, why do you think they call it MS-13 NBC? Here's Jonathan Lemire on MS-13 NBC this morning.
The White House has put up about 100 posters of what they say are unauthorized immigrants who've been arrested for violent crimes.
Unauthorized immigrants.
They put them up on the driveway of the White House. If you look here, that's the West Wing just at the forefront, the Executive Mansion itself to the left. But what's particularly noteworthy about this location is it is right directly behind the positions where TV correspondents do their hits from the White House lawn. So therefore, no matter what network you're on, that includes MSNBC, if you're doing a hit from the White House right now, those pictures will be behind you.
And they're angry. I can't believe they're forcing us to acknowledge something that we are burying rather than reporting. And Jonathan Lemire, is he transgender technically? I'm not really sure. It's hard to say. Jasmine, is Jonathan Lemire transgender? It's hard to say. But there's Jonathan, unauthorized migrants. Is that the unauthorized migrants? That is illegal alien gang members raping and murdering. And beneath them, it says arrested, and then there's a mugshot, and then it lists the crime or crimes that they've been arrested for beneath the photograph, the mugshot. Now, they're not saying they were convicted. The posters are more accurate and correct than is MS-13 NBC. The posters on the front lawn of the White House are more accurate and more complete than anything Jonathan Lemire is saying on MS-13 NBC. They're unauthorized. And, yeah, we don't know if they're all they've said is they're arrested. Are you claiming, Jonathan Lemire, that these individuals have not been arrested? The mugshots that are shown, and that the charges listed below, they're mugshots like murder, sexual assault, rape. Are you saying that these people have not been arrested on these charges? Because that's all the posters say, is that here's a mugshot of a person who was arrested. Here's the charge for which he was arrested. Doesn't say convicted and found guilty, because you guys are going to drag it out for decades and decades because they want to have due process, they say, that is drag out every illegal alien in court for decades to come, making billions of dollars for corrupt lawyers, many of whom went to Ivy League institutions. Jonathan Lemire on MS-13 NBC this morning, very angry when the truth slaps him in the face like a fish. Oh, I'm sorry, Jonathan, not Maria Teresa Kumar. Oh, is this Maria Teresa Kumar? Maria Teresa Kumar.
One of the biggest challenges that we have with the deportations that we know of so far, for example, with Kilmer Abrego Garcia, we don't know if they've had due process. We don't know if, in fact, these individuals do have a rap sheet. So I would encourage those individuals that have that as a backshot to blur those people out.
Blur those. This is Maria Teresa Kumar on MS-13 NBC saying, and she's smirking. You can hear the dripping smirk. We don't know if they have a rap sheet. What is it? That's not a question on the table. We don't know if they have a cat at home either, but that's not important. We don't know if they had a breakfast burrito for breakfast, but the sign doesn't say that. The sign doesn't say they have a rap sheet. It says they've been arrested, and this is the crime for which they've been arrested, and here's their mugshot. So that, unless you're disputing the accuracy or the truth of the mugshots and the charges for which they've been arrested, or if you want to question whether they've actually been arrested, then you talking about all these peripheral, tangential things, completely irrelevant to what the White House has done. Maria Teresa Kumar.
The job of journalism is to ensure that we are presenting the facts, that we are cross-referencing. We know that PolyFact actually checked the Trump administration because of an earlier picture that they released on Kilmer, recognizing that it was altered, that it was false, that they had placed gang signs, tattoos on him that weren't real. Lie.
She is a liar, a fraud, a charlatan. What is it coming in? A lion Sacagawea. She's a lion Sacagawea. What a lion Sacagawea is this person? But she's the CEO of Voto Latino. That's why she's on MSDNC, Maria Teresa Kumar. She's, that's not even English, but she's the CEO of the Latino political organization Voto Latino. Why don't you speak English? Why don't you talk American? Welcome to the country. Aren't you amazing? She's a Colombian-American political rights activist. So now she's talking about the photographs that were taken while Democrat Maryland Senator Chris Van Hollen was hanging out with his buddy in the El Salvador prison, and there are photographs that were taken. Somebody zoomed in on his left hand and found that the tattoos on his knuckles. Who doesn't have tattoos on all their knuckles? With the marijuana leaf, the left hand, index finger, marijuana leaf representing M. Ask any gang police officer that deals with gangs. And then the smiley face is the S. And then they had the 1 and the 3 and their little MS-13 code. And then the White House published that photo after it became public on the internet. And they put the decoder, because you ask any, again, police officer that deals with gangs all over the country and every state because of the Democrats. And here is Maria Teresa Kumar. Yeah, and they put up this, she's lying. And Jonathan Lemire sits there with his head wedged deep into his dark remote location because he doesn't follow the news. He doesn't know how to respond to lies being told by Voto Latino lady, not English words. On MS-13 DNC.
The press right now, we are absolutely under attack. Our job is always to have our true north, to make sure that we're presenting balanced news.
You're lying.
And making sure that we are not putting folks that are potentially in danger. And having that representation of those pictures in the background, we can't allow that to basically for us to carry the water of potentially innocent people. So I recognize live shots are tough, but I would encourage folks to actually make sure that those shots are blurred to the best of your abilities.
I'll bet $1 that the CNN and MSDNC, MS-13 DNC will blur the photos. The White House, and that's why the White House put them out there. And once again, they're falling into the White House's trap of proving how corrupt they are as fake journalists. And this woman with her, what about the tattoos, like it's some kind of fake. You're the only fake in the discussion. You're the only fraud. We should put her face on one of the posters out front. And they should put the judges, like the Wisconsin, the Milwaukee judge that facilitated the escape of the, I don't think it was his wife, but if it was his wife, he'd be a wife beater. As it is now, he's a woman beater, and the Democrats rescue them. They love murderers like Luigi Mangione. They love gang members like Kilmore Abrego Garcia. From the Senate Democrat, Senate House members, Democrat judges who are shacking up at home with Tren de Aragua members in New Mexico and helping them escape, helping illegal alien woman beaters, leaving them bloodied and battered. And then you got a Democrat woman helping him escape because she won't cooperate with the federal government. It's a breakaway. It's like the Civil War when they started breaking away to keep their slaves. The Democrats, they love slavery. Now they love illegal aliens. There's just something about them and cheap labor, I guess, huh? I figured out they don't have to house and feed illegal aliens, though. They just let them go free to rape and murder and plunder because they're too busy firebombing the homes of Jewish governors. Okay, gosh, I got unsurprisingly taken off of my intended track this morning because of things going on at the White House in the 8 a.m. hour, and that's what we do. We roll with it, baby. Now let's go to the telephones. Let's go to Donnie calling from Oshkosh, Wisconsin. Donnie, you're on the Chris Plant Show, by gosh.
Hey, good morning, Chris. Like I was telling your screener, I was kind of confused the other day. I've been driving, we're counting with 60,000 people, and I'm driving around my neighborhood, and I've counted at least a dozen signs with posted with the face of the Maryland father, if you would, with the words "Bring him back" on there. And I'm curious, where are these signs coming from?
Oh, that's a fun question. In Oshkosh, Wisconsin, Democrats are putting up posters of the criminal illegal alien wife beater and saying, what does it say? What are the words?
Bring him home.
Bring him home. He is home. He's in El Salvador.
Exactly. Thank you.
Yeah. And where are the signs coming from? That's a good question. I noticed at one of the Jew-hating violent attacks in New York over the weekend, the posters were by the Socialist Workers Party. I've got that coming up, too. Stay right there.